Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed. Plus free premium delivery with any smart bed and adjustable base. Ends Labor Day. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Hour 2, Wednesday edition Hunt Palmer Show, officially working towards the weekend, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. SEC Power Rankings coming up in 30 minutes. We'll get to the Saints as they have reached out and acquired a quarterback to bring into the fold. After yesterday, you saw Jay Kaner being released. We'll talk about a little bit of the practice squad as well, plus who the Saints have claimed off some waivers. So we'll talk some Saints coming up in the next segment. Garrett Nussmeier met with the reporters yesterday. I was there at Football Ops, and it was the first time we talked to Garrett since SEC Media Days in Atlanta. That's odd to me that Garrett has not come out to player interviews. We've had a number of those. I think like 4 or 5 times we've talked to players, and Garrett has not come. I don't have a huge problem with it. I just noticed it. Usually quarterback is very much available, and Garrett hasn't been as much. So wanted to kind of go into some of the things that he talked about yesterday. And one of them is obviously wearing the number 18. We'll knock that out here before we get into some of his thoughts on the LSU defense. But Garrett talked about wearing 18 for LSU.
I mean, it means everything. Just to have that opportunity to wear that number here at LSU, it's a huge honor. Something I'm very grateful for, very thankful to be selected to wear that. And so I wear it with a lot of pride, and I'm going to do everything I can to step up to it and make sure that I represent it the right way.
Look, I talked about this on Monday. I just feel like that guy and that number makes a lot of sense, and I'm good with it. It's not going to result in more wins or losses. I think the most important thing for me is that the guy that the players and the coaches respect enough to give that number is the guy that's taking the snaps, is the guy that is making the decisions in crunch time for the football team. And you can do that wearing number 9. We saw that pretty successfully in 2019. You can do that wearing number 5. We saw that pretty successfully in 2023. I think you can do it at 18, and I just feel good about him wearing that number. So that was something I wanted to discuss at the beginning, but I think there are some more impactful sound bites here from Garrett yesterday. I asked him specifically about the defense in camp and it kind of throwing some punches back at the offense. That's not something we have seen the defense do over the last 3 camps. So he told me what he thought about the defense and their competition day in and day out.
It's been awesome. I mean, it's definitely been the most competitive fall camp that I've been a part of since I've been here. Just going back and forth at each other. Offense wins a day, defense wins a day, and I think that's something that's so healthy and so good for our football team. In the past, when you're winning every practice and things like that, and you're winning every drill, it's not necessarily a great feeling. It's kind of, you feel good about it as an offense, but then you're also a little bit concerned. You know what I mean? But I think this year, if you just look at both sides of the ball, we got athletes everywhere. We got guys that can make plays, and so I think it just speaks to the fullness of our team.
I agree with him completely on that. I am not new to going to practice, but all of us on the beat are new to seeing as much as we're seeing now at practice, seeing as much 7-on-7 as we're seeing as much 11-on-11 as we're seeing. And for me, I'm now drawing on those experiences. I'm drawing on what I watched when Jaden Daniels went out there and torched that team consistently in 2023 in camp. I drew from that experience. It seemed odd at the time, and it was a harbinger of things to come. And I feel the same way about last year when I thought, man, they're not covering anybody, and Miller Moss went out there and threw for 370 yards. And I feel like this time around, the defense absolutely stepped up to the plate. Now, I have my concerns about the offensive line. I'm going to talk about that in a second with what Garrett had to say about him. But, I think that we see enough that's not just running through cones where you can't really tell anything in the Les Miles era. We can see some stuff now. And I think some of the things that we bring to you have some substance behind them. And one of them for this go around with camp was like the defensive guys are playing better than I have seen them play in the time we've watched as much 11 on 11 as we've seen. And Garrett spoke about facing what we think is going to be a good defense every day during camp.
It's been awesome, when you're practicing against a good defense, it helps. It's also Coach Baker, he is an unbelievable football coach, and so going against him every single day, I feel like he'll do things just to try and mess with me, and you can see it, so just it's a challenge every single day, and it's helped me not only to grow as a player, but also to approach practice how I have to approach games, and just making sure I come to work with the right mindset every single day, no days off, because if you do, they're going to embarrass us out there.
I mean, he's right. If we don't come with the right mindset, that defense can embarrass you. And I thought at times the defense just dominated the LSU offense. And a lot of that is up front. And I have a few things that I want to talk about with this topic, because it's been the topic of the last 3 weeks of camp, is what about this offensive line? What about this defensive line? What are we supposed to take from the fact that they're struggling to run the ball at times? What are we supposed to take about the way they're winning up front with the defense? Is the defensive line that good? Does the offensive line have its issues? And I have my thoughts on it, but I think the quarterback's take on it is a little bit more important. So we'll talk about Garrett and what he's seen from the offensive line facing that good defensive front.
I think they've done an unbelievable job. I think Braylon Moore has done a really good job stepping into that center role and being kind of the catalyst of that group, and Josh Thompson as well coming in. And I think you see the young guys stepping up a lot, who have done an unbelievable job just embracing their opportunities. And so I got full confidence in those guys. I'm ready to see them finally prove it, and so it's something I'm very excited for.
Here is my take on the defensive line and the offensive line. I've settled on this, and I will learn a lot more on Saturday than I will have the last month. But this is my take from watching it. You can take it as gospel. You can take it as a guy who has no idea what he's talking about. But here's my take that I've settled on. I think LSU up front defensively is going to be exceptional this year. I think they're going to be elite in college football. I think they're going to be one of the best front sevens in the Southeastern Conference. I believe that. I believe in Jack Pyburn. I believe in Patrick Payton. I believe in Gabe Relaford. I believe in Jamari Butler. I believe in Bernard Gooden and Ahmad Bro and Dom McKinley. And I believe in Jacoby and Guillory. And I think that is 8 dudes that can play at the point of attack. Clearly, I believe in Whit Weeks. Clearly, I believe in Harold Perkins. I think West Weeks going to do a fine job. I think LSU is elite on the defensive front. I think LSU is struggling at the offensive line. I think that. And I think that they're going to have to do some things to try to shield that away. And I believe it's going to cost LSU a game or two because they don't run the ball well enough and Garrett's not protected well enough. Is that Saturday? We'll see. Is that against Alabama on the road? We'll see. Does Ole Miss or Florida have enough to get you at the point of attack? We'll see. I don't think LSU is going to be awful on the offensive line. I think they have issues. I don't think they're nearly as good as they were last year. That's my opinion. Again, we're going to learn more on Saturday. But I will tell you this. Garrett Nussmeier has practiced against what I believe is an elite defensive front against the offensive line that's going to be in front of him all year for a month. And he has dealt with pressure. He has dealt with commotion in the backfield. He's dealt with all this and had practice doing it. Now, it's a different beast when they come at you and they can hit you. I get it. He knows right now nobody's hitting him. But he has had a little bit of time to practice that. He didn't get a lot of practice at that last year. He didn't get hit very much. He didn't get pressured very much. So this camp was probably a little bit eye-opening to him, and hopefully that's prepared him for Saturday. But I think that's where I've landed on those two units going against each other a lot. I don't think that LSU's offensive line is atrocious and they're propping up a mediocre LSU defensive line that just looks good because of that. No, I think LSU's defensive line is that good. But I think that the offensive line has got its issues. And we'll see. But Garrett is speaking confidently about them. So is Brian Kelly. Again, we'll see. Now, this is a good answer as well from Garrett, talking about the vibes in the program. There's one piece of this answer, and you'll hear it, where he talks about the vibes as game day approaches. And you got to like hearing this from the quarterback.
It's very different. I think there's a growing confidence around this building. And I think it's been like that, and people have seen that even since spring ball. Just with the closeness, I think, of our team has brought out a competitive edge, I think. Guys wanting to beat each other, and it's been awesome to see. And I think also we have a lot of confidence and swagger, I think, on each side of the ball. On defense, you got guys like Whit Weeks and Perk and just leading, you know what I mean? And on offense, you got guys like Aaron Anderson, Barry Brown, Xavier Thomas. I think there's just so much confidence and swagger around the building that it just leads to this feeling that that it used to be like I can remember as a freshman when Derek Stingley was out there and those guys like that. That's how it used to feel. LSU used to feel like a confident, swaggy football team, and I think you're starting to see that now again.
I like the sound of that because I can tell you this firsthand. I've seen the swaggy LSU teams. I watched 2011 up close and personal. I work with one of those guys every Saturday during football season in BT. I watched that 2019 team, the team that was getting the gat in the White House. And everybody's confident and full of swagger when you don't have a loss. And guess what? I guess there are a couple teams that lost last week, but just about nobody's got a loss. It's easy to carry yourself with confidence and swagger when you got a 0 in that loss column, and everybody's got that right now. We'll see what happens when they get out on the football field. But I like the sound of it. I like the sound of a team that's confident. I like the sound of a team that feels like it's good. I hesitate to use the term knows it's good. You can know you're good in November. It's hard to know you're good right now. Think you're good, believe you're good, and I'm hopeful that comes out on Saturday. I'm hopeful that LSU plays like that and that you see guys that have a little edge to them. Remains to be seen, but Garrett feels like he sees it. He knows better than I do, so we'll take it. That's Garrett Nussmeier from yesterday. Going to write some things up on the defense specifically at LouisianaSports.net in the coming days. I've got a piece up right now about Harold Perkins and his coming back from the injury. I think that plays better in writing than it does on radio. Harold's answers are pretty quick and to the point, which is great for writing. Not as good for radio. You like your 20-second sound bites here, and you don't get a lot from Perk. But he was in a dark place, and there's a story up on LouisianaSports.net right now that kind of details his road back and how much fun he's having right now. And I think that's just part of the swagger this team can have. So if you want to read that, you can over at LouisianaSports.net. Saints have brought in a quarterback. Saints have made some waivers claims. We'll talk about the Saints roster since last time we met and talked about the Saints. We'll do it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is the website. Jonathan Carver and his team, phenomenal folks to work with on the insurance front. Still hurricane time. It's been quiet around here thus far. We like that. But you understand that you never know when the next one shows up. Maybe it'll be this month. Maybe it'll be next month. Maybe it'll be next year. Make sure your insurance policy is ready for that. What's your business interruption limit? How'd you get to that number? Make sure if you're out of work due to a storm that your insurance company's paying for that. I've seen that pay big dividends for businesses that were in trouble because it couldn't work. I know we always want to talk about premium, and the Highland Insurance Group knows that premium is important to its clients. That's why they shop with the dozens of carriers they're contacted with as an independent broker. But the coverage is every bit that important when that crisis happens. Car accident, lawsuit, injury, whatever the case is. Let the Highland Insurance Group audit your business's policies right now and make sure that you're covered properly. Hurricane season, car accident, like I mentioned, whatever may happen, they'll make sure you are covered. It's the Highland Insurance Group, Jonathan Carpenter's team right here in Baton Rouge. Check them out online, HighlandIG.com, HighlandIG.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Looking to put in the pool of your dreams? Joey Blanchard and the team at Renaissance Homes and Pools, happy to help you with that. I know we're about to wave goodbye to summer, even though the hot weather is going to stick around here for a little bit. But if you've gone through this summer thinking, man, really wish I would have put that pool in, well, don't make the same mistake for next year. You can get a pool put in the course of about 2 months, depending on the weather and the size of your project. Start that process now with Joey Blanchard. He'll sit down with you, go through this incredible software they've got. He's shown me it. It's amazing. If you have an idea what you want to do with your pool, you can do that, and he'll show it to you to scale. If you have no idea where to start, he can help you with that as well. And you go through the design process with the owner of the company, and he's there when you dig. He might be doing some digging, quite frankly. If somebody takes a lunch break, he'll jump up there on the dozer and get it done. He'll be there for the pouring of the pool, for the filling of the pool, for the completion of that pool. It's just a comforting feeling knowing you're working with the owner of the company, because you're not going to deal with somebody who may go take another job or may have eyes elsewhere. No, you got the guy that is invested in what's going on your property. And that's what you get with Joey Blanchard and Renaissance Homes and Pools. So give Joey a call, 225-252-7745. Again, 225-252-7745. And let him know you're ready to get that pool, ready to get that outdoor kitchen, and make sure that next summer you don't melt. You got the pool. It's Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com. All right, let's talk some Saints. Practice squad day as the Saints continue to add some players to their practice squad. And my eyes were immediately on quarterback, right? And you realize when they waived Jake Haener and you're looking at the situation and they didn't sign a veteran quarterback in the offseason and you were going in with Rattler and Shuck and Haener, like, okay, that's three. You're going to settle on a starter. You're going to settle on a backup. That's going to be Shuck and Rattler. Like, Haener's going to be the odd man out, but probably keep him around as your third quarterback. And then they waived him, and everybody's looking, going, well, I guess they're going to see what he can do elsewhere, and they're going to go find. I thought they're going to go find a veteran. It's not easy to do, but you can go get C.J. Beathard. You can go get Jeff Driscoll. There are guys out there that you can go bring in that have been in the league for 6 years, 8 years, to come into the quarterback room and to help. And the Saints did not do that. The Saints have gone to the well. The Saints have brought back Jake Haener to the practice squad, and the Saints have brought back Hunter Deckers to the practice squad. So you feel like Haener will be elevated. He'll be the third guy, and Deckers is just a guy that they want to keep around. Hunter Deckers is an interesting story. This is a guy who was Brock Purdy's backup at Iowa State, who was caught up in the sports gambling situation there in Ames. So he ended up having to leave Iowa State and played quarterback for Iowa Western in 2024. He went undrafted, and the Saints added him as a rookie into their minicamp and OTAs, and now they brought him back. So when I say he's an Iowa Western guy, you go, oh, well, this is some D15 guy that they brought in that has no talent, no ability, that they're throwing something against the wall. Well, actually, he was a good high school football player who earned a Big 12 offer and was going to be starting quarterback in the Big 12, but then he got in trouble. So the talent level is major college football. He just had to take a detour. Now, I don't believe that Deckers, who grew up on a cattle farm, is going to be the quarterback of the Saints' future, but it's interesting that they feel good enough about him to bring him in. I'm curious about the makeup of this quarterback room, because it is young, especially in experience. Like, I know Shuck is old, and we make those jokes all the time, like he's the oldest rookie in the league, but you've got him, you've got Rattler's a second-year guy, you've got Haener, who's been in the league for 3 years, who's young and inexperienced and hasn't played a lot. And then you bring in Deckers, who's 24 years old and hasn't been in the NFL. So I guess the thought is that you've got Kellen Moore, who's my age, who there are quarterbacks in the NFL plenty older than Kellen Moore. So he's kind of the old man in the room who's played in the NFL. And maybe that takes that place. That makes some sense to me. I don't know if that's the way they're looking at it or not. But it's a young, inexperienced group. I would have liked a veteran to come in at some point. Didn't happen. Okay, well, you move forward. So that's what they're doing at the quarterback spot. You look at the rest of the practice squad. I figured Clyde Edwards-Helaire may be on there. He's not. He is headed back to Kansas City. The Saints have signed defensive tackle Jonah Williams to the practice squad. They are bringing in Nephi Sewell back to the practice squad at linebacker. He's done some nice things as a depth piece at linebacker. Terrell Burgess, who's a safety, is going to be on the practice squad. Dallas Beanham, who is a corner, is on the practice squad. Trayton Welch, who a lot of people thought might have a chance to make the active 53, is brought back on the practice squad. Welch, Courts made that really good catch in the second preseason game on a ball from Tyler Shuck. He had a really nice camp, and with two of your tight ends on the PUP list, That's a guy that you figured might make the team. He's a likely elevation early in the season as you figure out what you've got behind Juwan Johnson. And then the most interesting one to me, not because it's going to impact the Saints significantly this year, unless there's an injury, is Charlie Smith. Charlie Smith has shown himself to be a quality NFL kicker. But Blake Grupe's had a brilliant camp. So Blake Grupe is clearly the winner of that competition. Charlie Smith is an asset. And I think by keeping him on the practice squad, you've got a chance to get something for Charlie Smith down the road. You all know, we are 100% sure that by the end of September, 2 or 3 teams are going to be ticked at their kicker. Somebody's going to miss a kick in overtime. Somebody's going to miss a 51-yarder late in the game that would have won it. And some coach is going to get cranky like Sean Payton used to always get, and they're going to cut their kicker. And Charlie Smith has put some things on tape that suggest he might be able to help. I mean, we know he's got one of the strongest legs in the NFL. This guy is good from 65. But he's become more consistent. And the Saints have a young kicker who now, after a bumpy first year, has kind of proven himself as a guy you can trust. So if you're a team and an organization, the Saints, that's looking at accruing assets for the future, draft picks, young players, Charlie Smith may be someone you can deal. I think he's a good asset to keep around. I'm being very presumptive on this. I know that. This would take a few dominoes to fall. And there's always the 38-year-old kicker who's been at this for 25 years that teams will knock on the door of. But I think a young kicker with that much talent like Smith could net something down the road. And, of course, the reason you have everybody on the practice squad is if there are injuries, you've got somebody you can elevate that can help you. And I think there's reason to believe if Blake Grupe has a quad issue or hamstring issue and you gotta make a move there, Charlie Smith may be able to help you. I talked to 2 Saints beat writers. One was Luke Johnson in the summer that thought Charlie Smith might win this job. Now, clearly that did not happen because Grupe was awesome. And I want to be sure and give him his flowers in this segment as we're talking about this. He's been great. Smith's good. And I think that could be something interesting for New Orleans moving forward. So Ross Jackson at LouisianaSports.net has the Saints practice squad tracker that's up on the website. We're seeing it as things move forward. Again, I thought Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a chance to make the team on the squad. Did not. He's going back to Kansas City. So Saints are still putting that together. And as we know, things are bound to change between now and next Sunday. It just is going to happen that way with every team in the NFL. Saints are not immune to that, but there are some interesting pieces there. And I think the way they're handling quarterback is certainly chief among those to this point. So if you're looking for Saints content, LouisianaSports.net's got it. And, of course, we also have it over at Hunt on Saints. Check that out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We certainly do appreciate that. Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. When we come back, SEC Football Power Rankings, edition number 1. We always keep number 1 around to make fun of me in December. We'll lay the foundation when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that's on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. How about America's best warranty? It's industry leading. You're talking about a powertrain warranty for 10 years, 100,000 miles. You're talking about a bumper-to-bumper new vehicle warranty, 5 years, 60,000 miles, bumper-to-bumper. Love to hear that. Enhanced 24/7 roadside assistance, 5 years unlimited miles, complimentary scheduled maintenance. You got to love that. It's all part of being a Genesis driver. It's a luxury brand at a reasonable price. When you go in, you're going to feel like a guest, not a customer. You're going to be treated unbelievably by their brand ambassadors, and you'll see how incredible that line of vehicles is. My personal favorite is the GV80. If you're looking for an SUV and you haven't checked out Genesis, just go check it out online at GenesisOfBatonRouge.com. You will see some things you like. And you can go by and see a Maryland at PQ, get into a test drive, and get behind the wheel of Genesis. Become one of those Genesis drivers so you can have the 3-year complimentary valet scheduled maintenance. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge, airline at PQ, online at GenesisOfBatonRouge.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
is going to be so disappointed in me
Why?
because I was talking about Renaissance Homes and Pools
Yeah.
and talking about Joey jumping in and doing some digging, which
Yeah.
he will do from time to time. And I called it a bulldozer.
Oh, no, Hunt.
We're looking for excavator.
Yes.
Now,
Bulldozers.
Myers has all that licked. You can't get a single piece of equipment or a dinosaur by him. He's elite in his knowledge of both.
Maybe he needs a job at Renaissance Homes and Pools.
I'm all for that. Like, massive paying job.
Yeah.
I'll pull him right out of daycare in 2 seconds.
He knows all the equipment.
He does. I don't know that he can operate anything.
No, he's just gonna be the
Can't
man.
even
He'll be the manager of the equipment. He'll make sure we got this many of any type of equipment you need. He knows what it is, so he knows how.
Problem is, if he's in charge of that, you're probably going to end up with more garbage trucks than you need.
Well,
candidly, because he's big into the garbage trucks.
Okay.
So we'll see. But yeah, Renaissance Homes and Pools. Looking for a pool? Joey help you build it and dig it, but he's going to use an excavator instead of a bulldozer. I don't know that. Myers does. Joey does. Call Joey. Make that happen for you. All right. It's time for me to make a fool out of myself. We like that. Let's do some SEC football power rankings. Week 1.
Hunt's SEC Power Rankings. The Georgia Bulldogs.
All right. The Georgia Bulldogs have the best coach and, generally speaking, have the best roster. Last year, the SEC made them go to Oxford and to Tuscaloosa and to Austin, and they still won the league. Okay? So I'm not going to pick against them at this point. I don't know if I can truly, fully come to trust the quarterback situation. I think they do, but we'll see as you move forward. But I just trust Kirby Smart and that program to be great on defense, powerful on offense, and I think that they'll be good enough. I think they'll be the best team in the league. I think they're a playoff team.
The Texas Longhorns.
I think Texas is right behind him in terms of roster, and I think they may be right behind him in terms of coach, because I think Sarkisian on offense is that good. They're certainly recruiting at elite level. I do think Arch is going to be good, but I like Texas more so because of their defense than I do because Arch Manning is some sort of transcendent quarterback. I think he'll be fine. I think he's got good enough playmakers on the outside. Certainly got to replace Kelvin Banks at offensive tackle, but I like the defense at Texas, and that's why I've got them at number 2.
The LSU Tigers.
We'll see. I like LSU's team. And we're going to talk about this the next couple of days. I love LSU's defense, and I'm ready to say that. I'm ready to watch them play on Saturday. And I think that when you've got a quarterback that's got this much proven film out there, and you've got playmakers like they've got, and I trust the defense the way I do, I think LSU's going to be really good. So I'll take LSU 3rd, and we'll see how that shakes out over the course of the next 3 months.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
I don't know about Ty Simpson. Now we've just gotten word that Tim Keenan's going to miss some time with a tightrope surgery for a sprained ankle. That's not good for the defensive line at Alabama. But Ryan Williams is a star. Their offensive line is massive. And I still think they've got elite talent there. Kalen DeBoer better win some games early. Don't want to get on the hot seat there right out of the chute. But I think Alabama's good, and I think they'll win comfortably in Tallahassee. Well, I didn't say comfortably. They'll win in Tallahassee on Saturday, and I think their team is good. I've got them for it. Texas A&M! This is on an identity play here with Texas A&M. 4 offensive linemen back, running quarterback back, who's probably a little bit better throwing the ball than we want to give him credit for. And I think Elko's defense is going to be really good. They got the whole secondary back. I think he's good at developing defensive linemen. I don't think they're a playoff team. I think they're good. And I think they're 5th in the league right now.
The Florida Gators.
I think this is Billy Napier's best team at Florida. When you've got a guy that they really trust like that at quarterback, it's a good thing. He's got Eugene Wilson on the outside to get the ball to. They've made strides on defense at the end of last year with a first-year coordinator. I feel like they'll be better on defense. It's Napier's best roster, and the quarterback should be really good. That's enough to put them towards the top of the middle of the pack for me. I've got Florida at 6.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Oklahoma was 10th in the country in total defense last year. Now they're bringing in a quarterback that they think can be pretty damn good. Now, whether or not John Mateer with Ben Arbuckle transforms this Oklahoma offense, we'll see. They don't have Nick Anderson. They don't have Bauer Sharp. They've got a wide receiver now. It was one of their better players that got hurt last year that's now at Mississippi State. Like, they've got guys spread out all over the place that were at Oklahoma last year, but they went and got a great running back from Cal and Alt. I think they're going to be pretty decent on offense. I think they'll be good on defense, and that equates to 7s, just the top of the middle of the pack there.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
I just don't trust Ole Miss to restock the shelves from last year. That was an elite roster. I don't think they can just immediately replace Walter Nolan. I think you don't immediately replace Jackson Dart. You don't immediately replace Trey Harris. You don't immediately replace Pooh Paul or Trey Amos. And I look at, Sage Ryan playing safety, Deshaun Womack playing defensive end. Looks good on the recruiting rankings. Is it good on the field? I think they'll score points. I don't know if they'll be great on defense. And I think they're gonna lose more games this year than they did last year. I think they'll be potentially a 4-loss team. So I got Ole Miss right there at number 8.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Not just completely overwhelmed with South Carolina. Lenore Sellers needs to throw the ball more effectively. He's still a freak athlete that's really strong. It's going to be hard to sack. But can he just run his way to wins like he did against Clemson last year when I think their defense takes a step back? You lose Kyle Kennard, you take a step back. But he's not the only guy they lost. They lost 3 guys on the front 4 and a couple linebackers. So, plus one of the better safeties in the country in Newman Worry. So, I don't trust South Carolina to just immediately restock the shelves. I think they're going to be good. I don't think they're going to be great. I don't think they're going 9-3 again. So give me South Carolina at 9.
The Missouri Tigers.
Kind of going off drink, just being pretty good every year here. They don't have Luther Burden. They have an easy schedule. I think they're going to be fine. And I think when you're fine, 10 makes some sense. So I've got Missouri there at number 10. Is that enough respect, Beck? 10?
Yeah, that's not bad.
All right, 10, good.
The Auburn Tigers.
We'll see. Is Jackson Arnold any good? There was very little evidence of that last year. They got great wide receivers. Cam Coleman's a stud. And I think their defense is going to be better. Offensive line looks like it's going to be pretty solid as well. Is Jackson Arnold any good? I don't know. I don't feel great about this Auburn team. I'm curious to watch them on Friday against Baylor on the road. Are you ready to do that? Go on the road for your first game? Hugh Freeze is a good coach. He's a good play caller. They generally have a good offensive scheme, but he needs to be able to run the ball, and he needs his quarterback to function. Peyton Thorne, Is Jackson Arnold any good? I've asked 3 times. I don't know. Got Auburn at number 11.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
I'm down on Tennessee. I'm down on Aguilar at quarterback. I think he's mediocre. I'm down on the fact that you lost a big chunk of your offensive line, 4 of them. I'm down on the fact that you lost the SEC Offensive Player of the Year at running back. I'm down on the fact that you lost your 2 wide receivers. I'm down on the fact that you lost a lot off of a really good defense. It's still got some pieces, and they'll be good up front on defense, and their defense is going to have to win them some games. I'm not bullish on the offense right now, even though Josh Heupel's a really good coach. I think Tennessee takes a step back. I've got him at number 12.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Here are the doors, 13. That's great.
Atrocity, Hunt.
How is that an atrocity? They're usually 16.
Is.
That's up 3 spots.
Wow.
Excellent spot for Vandy here. They've got one surefire high-end pro. He plays tight end. I think that you've got a nice story at quarterback, and that's what I think he is, a nice player. I think Diego Pavia is a nice player. Keep in mind, last year, they beat Ball State by 7 and lost to Georgia State. It wasn't a great team last year. Not a great team this year. It's an average team. 13.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Here's where I get to the bottom of the league. This is going to be Talon Green versus the world in Fayetteville. I think their defense is going to be awful. I think their offensive line is going to be mediocre. And I think the weapons they've got around Talon Green are worse than they had last year. It's just, what can Bobby Petrino squeeze out of this Talon Green fruit? And I think it's mediocre. I think they're going to give up a ton of points. I think they're going to be behind. I think that means Talon Green has to throw more than they want to, and I think they lose a lot of games. I don't think Arkansas is going to be very good. I've got them at 14.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
It's going to get dicey in Lexington. That's what I think. I think it's already a little dicey. On one hand, they turn the page to basketball pretty quickly in November. So when you're 3-8, like they're not that cranky because they're now looking at all their McDonald's All-Americans. But that goodwill that Mark Stoops built up is evaporating because they're not any good. He took the A&M job and then came back. It's just not going to work. I don't see another good season coming in the Mark Stoops era at Kentucky. I've got them at 15.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Could be another winless run for Coach Levy here. They'll go to Fayetteville, and we'll see. But I've got Mississippi State as the worst team in the league. That is a look at your SEC Power Rankings. Beck, you've got a cornucopia of things to look at.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'll run through it. and then you can give me why I'm stupid. Got Georgia at 1, best coach, best roster. Texas 2, right there behind them. I like LSU. I've got LSU at number 3. Bama at 4, a lot of pros there. I'm high on A&M. They're number 5. I think this is Billy Napier's best roster. Got them at number 6. Oklahoma, I think they get better. They're number 7 here. Ole Miss, I think they take a step back. South Carolina, they take a step back. Missouri, just very mediocre. They're there at 10. At 11, it's Auburn. I don't know about their quarterback. I think Tennessee takes a step back at 12. Vanderbilt, I just don't think is very good at 13. Then you got the 3 bottom feeders, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Mississippi State. I think they combine for 2 wins this year.
Yeah, I am not. I would say that I'm not opposed to your bottom teams there. I think they're all bad.
Vanderbilt's at the bottom.
I would no. See that I'm the bottom 3. After the bottom 3, Vanderbilt of course needs to be higher. Justice for Vanderbilt. Tennessee is shocking to me just because I just trust Josh Heupel, and I just trust that he is going to find a way to get a lot out of quarterbacks who aren't maybe the most talented. He's done it before. And so I'm a little bit surprised they're that low. And then I would say having South Carolina 9 underneath teams like Florida, Oklahoma, and Ole Miss. I just think that Lenore Sellers is a dynamic quarterback, and I think he's going to be better than he was last year. And dynamic quarterbacks can carry you to wins in college football. And I still am confused about the Oklahoma. I didn't know their defense was that good last year, so that is a point that makes sense as to why a lot of people think they're going to be a little bit better this year. But I still just need to see the offense be better. I mean, John Mateer was good at Washington State. They played nobody. They played not one single good team, so he's going to be playing in the SEC now. Yeah, the Broncos, very
Ashton
good team.
Genty.
Very good team.
There.
Yeah, John Mateer. Yeah, let's see how he faces off against SEC defenses. And then the top 5 or 6, I don't really have a lot of complaints there. A&M that high is also another interesting one. Whoop! Yeah, Hunt, a known Aggie yell leader, of course. Whoop! So no surprise that he's got them ranked that highly. But
love the Aggies, big Aggie guy.
Yeah, of course.
Love C-Stat there in College Station.
Yeah.
Love to be there. The Dixie Chicken.
Yes.
Dunk my ring in the beer,
You
drink
got
it,
all of it.
and love yell leaders. They're awesome.
You
Very
are
cool.
a yell leader, Hunt, of course, as everyone knows. South Carolina that low is probably the most interesting one to me, and in Oklahoma and Florida being that high, which I guess is not really that high. They're kind of in the middle of the league, so it's possible. But it's overall not bad. Of course, Vanderbilt needs to be a little bit higher. That's my takeaway there.
All right, let's close it out.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club here in Baton Rouge. Golfers, listen up. This is where you need to be. It's on Seagan, right there at Perkins. You go inside. They've got 3 bays with the golf simulators. Whether you're looking to work on your game, you can do it there. They got a driving range setting. You can get all your information, club head speed, launch angle, carry, spin. You can watch it on the simulator. Plus, what I found to be the most helpful, you can see a slow-mo of your club at impact. I hit a big hook. Whenever I do that, I was noticing I was hitting the ball inside on the heel of the club. That's what you're looking to do. Work on your game. You can do it there. If you're not looking to do that at all, you just want to have some fun, you can do that at Swing Easy Golf Club. Get a cold beer, get some wine, have some friends in the bay with you. You got comfortable seating that's there, a television. You can work on your game there. You can play some of the great courses around the world. TPC Louisiana. You can play Riviera Country Club. You can play Bethpage Black where they play the Ryder Cup. Like, they've got the great courses throughout that simulator, and there are membership options available, both individual and corporate memberships, where you can entertain clients at Swing Easy Golf Clubs. It's an awesome, awesome new addition to the golf scene here in Baton Rouge. Get on by and see them. I know it's 1,000,000 degrees outside, not inside, when you're on the swing simulator at Swing Easy Golf Club. Again, on Seagan, near Perkins Road. Swing Easy Golf Club, Swing Easy Golf Club, Baton Rouge.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Your Fighting Tigers of LSU open the 2025 season Saturday on the road when they face the Clemson Tigers. It all gets started with Eagle 98.1 Game Day with Charles Hannegriff and Matt Musso at 1:30 p.m. live from Rouse's on Burbank, and wraps up with Eagle 98.1 Game Day post game 90 minutes after the end of the game. It's presented by Super Chevy, your local Super Chevy dealers, and Yingling, featuring Yingling Flight. Here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and watch it live on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel.
Slip a little bit of baseball in here at the final segment. Jay Johnson met with the media at 1 o'clock, right when we started the show today. And I'm reading off Glenn West's Twitter feed. I have not seen this quote, but I'm reading a quote off Glenn's tweet about Gavin Guidry. He said he's playing catch, continually building him up. They're hoping he can throw in the fall, and the quote is, if he pitches, it will be at the back end of the fall. That is got to be really frustrating for Gavin. Obviously, was ready to go to start the season, felt something in his lower back after the first week, was set to start one of those midweek games, and it just never healed. So you have that procedure done to fix it, and it's just a slow wait back. So hopefully Gavin's ready to go in February. But if you're looking at late in the fall, which for LSU means the first week in November is when they finish fall practice, if he's not ready to pitch the first week in November, like, what are the odds he's really ready to go the second week of February, which is when you start? You're only talking about a span of about 10 weeks there, which, can be a significant amount of time. But if you haven't thrown, there's still a ramp-up process. So it seems like Gavin Guidry not super close to coming back and pitching. Hopefully that recovery is steady, that recovery is successful, and he is able to pitch at the back end of fall. If he is able to throw some at the end of the fall, you feel like the 10 weeks off, he'll be ready to go in February. But they're not going to rush anything. With that injury, you'd love to have him at the back end of your bullpen as a guy that you've trusted to get big outs over the course of his time at LSU. They missed him last year, found a way to get by without him. Like to have him on this roster as you look to replace some key bullpen pieces. Certainly Chase Shores comes to mind when you're talking about the bullpen last year. So a little baseball there. Let's finish it out with some take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Flight by Yingling, next generation of light beer, brewed by the oldest brewery in America, still family owned and operated. That is Yingling in Pottsville, PA. If you're looking for a light beer while the temperature is still hot, nothing better than Flight by Yingling. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. If you're trying to knock down more than one on Saturday for LSU and Clemson, want something light, Flight by Yingling needs to be what you pick up on the way home. Flight by Yingling, next generation of light beer.
All right, first one. We talked about it a little bit in What If Wednesday, but Keegan Bradley and the U.S. Ryder Cup team is finalized. He made his captain's picks, and we've got the 12-man team. The U.S. will win the Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black next month. Take it or leave it.
Take it.
I'll take it.
Love to see it. Can't wait. It's the Ole Miss weekend. I like the ones in America because it's better for timing, but I do also kind of like waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch the first tee shot in Europe. But we are going to win. I like our team. They got to play a little bit better. JT's got to play a little bit better. Morcal's got to play a little better. Cantley's got to play a little better, but they're very good players.
Yep.
Clutch players. I hate the European team, and I hope we crush them.
I agree. I think they're going to win. The home team has won every single Ryder Cup, except for, of course, the Miracle of Medina going back to 2011. So
yes.
Home team usually wins these. U.S. have a lot of guys that can hit it pretty far. Bethpage Black is a bomber's course. The European team is going to be good. They've got some good young talent, and they played really well at the last one, but this is going to be on home soil, so I like the U.S. as well in that one. Next one here, the Baltimore Ravens have signed Kyle Hamilton, safety Kyle Hamilton, to a 4-year, $100 million extension. Largest deal for a safety in NFL history. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. He's very good. Take it. Brian Kelly coached him at Notre Dame. He is a very good safety, and that was just a classic Ravens draft pick. They're lurking around there at the 18th or 21st pick or 24th pick, and then boom, they get a guy, and everybody goes, oh, yeah, that guy's going to be really good. And Kyle Hamilton was that guy. They got him late in the first round, and now all of a sudden he's as good a safety as there is in the NFL. So, well deserved.
Got to be one of the best drafting teams, I think, the Ravens.
They're very good.
Very good at drafting. All right, that's it. Take it or leave it.
And by the way, that team that's very good at drafting took 2 LSU offensive linemen last year.
That's true.
So for those that think the LSU offensive line stunk last year, just file that away. They generally know what they're looking at, and I think it was Emory Jones and Garrett Dellinger were both picked by the Ravens last year because Frazier went to the Lions, Campbell went to the Patriots. So, yeah, that's right. That's it for a Wednesday edition. We've officially reached the back end of the week. Tomorrow, we'll talk to Chris Blair, get you ready for the coaches show tomorrow, and then, of course, their broadcast on Saturday. We'll talk more about LSU and Clemson. I've got key matchups to watch. We'll get into that on tomorrow's show. So lots to do on that show. Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. If you missed any of it, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Talked about the Saints practice squad. It's also talked some Clemson with a radio man from over there in South Carolina. Matt's going to drive you home next on AFR. We're back tomorrow getting closer to game day on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The Hunt Palmer Show.